A lovely, warm, full day, perfect for a trip to Mount Auburn Cemetery. So let's go. Okay, Griffey. Death is supposed to be the great equalizer. The brilliant economist John Maynard Keynes has a famous line, "In the long run, we're all dead." But even in death, the inequities of life persist. For one thing, if you're a member of the New England elite, you can be buried in this gorgeous cemetery beneath these mighty trees and the feet of many bird watchers. Mount Auburn Cemetery has 7 hills like Rome. One of them is called Harvard Hill. Let's go there. Well, this is Harvard Hill. John Rawls was one of the most influential philosophers, political philosophers of the 20th century. He taught at MIT for a bit, but spent most of his career at Harvard. He joined the Harvard faculty in 1962, and his most famous book is A Theory of Justice, written in 1971. And we're going to read an excerpt from that book. And this is Rawls's grave. John Bawdley Rawls, 1921 to 2002. Rawls is famous for his thought experiment of the original position, where he tries to derive the principles that govern a just society by imagining that we're behind a veil of ignorance, deciding what sort of society we want to be in. In what Rawls calls the original position, where we're supposed to decide the principles of justice, no one knows his place in society, his class position or social status, nor does anyone know his fortune in the distribution of natural assets and abilities, his intelligence, strength, and the like. So the idea is that if you didn't know what your place in society was going to be, then the principles you choose to govern society would be the principles that govern a just or fair society. And Rawls thought that the principles rational people would choose in that position would make room for inequality of resources, but arrange any inequalities so they were to the benefit of the least advantaged. A very different approach to political philosophy was taken by Rawls's colleague, Robert Nozick, at Harvard, who wrote Anarchy, State and Utopia in 1974. We'll also be reading an excerpt from that. The preface to that book begins, "Individuals have rights, and there are things no person or group may do to them without violating their rights." And from that starting point, Nozick reached a conclusion very different from Rawls about the nature of a just society. Our main conclusions about the state, he says, are that a minimal state, limited to the narrow functions of protection against force, theft, fraud, enforcement of contracts and so on, is justified, that any more extensive state, for instance a state interested in redistributing wealth to make resources more equally distributed among the population, will violate persons' rights not to be forced to do certain things, and is unjustified, and that the minimal state is inspiring as well as right. And in fact, on Harvard Hill, if you come this way, pretty close to Rawls's grave, is Nozick's, if only I can find it. Oh, here we are. In fact, they died in the same year. Robert Nozick, November the 16th, 1938 to January the 23rd, 2002. Philosopher. Here they both are, overlooking the Boston skyline.